Quarantine check-in number 10. This is coming to you from Kansas City. We've been sort of soft opening for a couple of weeks. So I got my new selfie light. It's a little brutal right now. I have to redo this one. I actually looked better yesterday, but whatever. This is what you get. I just woke up. Okay, numero uno. The Ozarks is trending because of all the people that are partying there, and they're showing pictures of them not social distancing, and everybody is up in arms about it. They're going to spread coronavirus. They're going to come back to Kansas City, and it's nuts. It's like how they were about Florida when people went to the beaches in Florida. My book, I finally published my book, Mr. Campy's Goes To and Other Adventures. It's available on Amazon as a regular book, an ebook, and then I have the audiobook on SoundCloud. Well, I have 3 chapters in there where I went to different parts of the Ozarks. So I went to Truman Lake, which is the beginning of the Ozarks, and then I went to Pomme de Terre Lake, which is a little further. And then I went to Table Rock Lake, which is by Branson, and Branson is bonkers. So that's 3 chapters in my book. If, you want to follow up on the Ozarks, you can listen to it for free, or buy it on Amazon. So, what else? Yeah, they might have to quarantine when they get back, because I've been hearing that some people, if they've left the city, they have to quarantine for 2 weeks, like for certain jobs. So that's kind of interesting. I wonder if they're like, yeah, I was just, partying in the Ozarks. If they're going to be like, well, you can come to work in 2 weeks, you fool. You fool. But they are fighting for the right to party. So that brings me to wearing a mask, not wearing a mask has turned political. Shocker, shocker. I've already told everybody I don't watch the news. A little background on that. I do live in La La Land. I try to. So that's just my fault. Also, you can't get away from the news, so I find every important thing out anyway. Like yesterday, I ran up to my fellow gardening friend and said, 3 weeks until my trip to Minneapolis, I'm going to stop off there from some bike riding. I didn't know there were riots in Minneapolis until she told me, which is terrible. But one of the reasons why I think I like David Spade, the bunker, when he signs off from the bunker every night and I laugh so hard, is that he doesn't do politics. I don't know enough about politics to do politics. Unless you want to hear somebody who's pretty uninformed talk about politics. But anyway, the mask, no mask thing has become a political kind of, I guess the gist is people that wear masks are afraid and they're Democrats, and people that don't wear masks think that God will save them, and they see Trump not wearing masks on TV and they think that they're Republican. I'm not saying that it's like that across the board. It's just something that I've noticed. And Facebook isn't near as fun as it used to be because people are just arguing about things like this and throwing insults and stuff. But I wear a mask when I'm around people because even if I find out later that it didn't work, just the fact that it might work, it's not really asking very much to just put one on. It's not a big deal. So I do when I go in stores, or even when I'm shopping for garden supplies. If I'm going to be close quarters, I just throw one on. I was in New York during 9/11, and I came home and watched the news for, maybe 24 hours straight. And it was just so intense. And then they just kept repeating the same thing. And I just shut it off. And I would just I was supposed to go to work, and you would hear orange alert, beware of subways, beware of bridges, and watch out for, bridges, subways, and like something else. It was my whole day. I took a 45-minute subway ride, like transferring in like Penn Station. I drove in a truck and we drove all over the city going over bridges. And so it was like, I ran out my credit card. I started kind of living large. I was like, well, we might die. I'm going to have a good time. Anyway, watching the news for people with anxiety, you know, I like to get my news from comedians. Okay, so, speaking of comedians, one of my favorite comedians, Henry Zebrowski. I was laughing so hard. One of my favorite things is when people just break into imitating specifically their mother. When Henry Zebrowski talks about his mother, oh, Henry, it just brings me so much joy. So much joy. So he was doing that yesterday, and it was making me so happy because she liked her Mother's Day flowers. So that was fun. I went and got fingerprinted for the census, which is a job I applied for a long time ago, hoping it would be a winter job. Now I'm busy gardening. I don't want another job, but I also don't want to pass it up if we get this second wave of coronavirus, which I hope we don't. But if we do, they'll probably, I think they shut it down anyway. I was going to be like a person who would go knocking on people's doors who wouldn't fill out the forms, which everything's getting a little bit violent. People are getting a little, throwing their guns around kind of freely. It's getting this like Wild West kind of like my freedom. And I don't know if I want to go knocking on people's doors. But then there's also like a lot of lovely some people are so happy to have human contact. So that, I'm glad that's on the back burner. I wanted to stay on the back burner, but it was interesting to go into a giant Office Depot and have nobody there but me and one other lady. But they've been open. I don't even know how they're making money. I'm going to go give them some business. I'm going to make my Mr. Campy's t-shirts. I silk screen them myself. I'm going to go get the transparency, maybe get some business cards for the book. Anyway, I'm excited. Okay, so I did this whole thing in my other thing and I deleted it because when I did it before, I didn't actually know how horrible the current events are. So, but what I was gonna joke about, and it's just a joke, is that, a lot of times, like, and I watch a lot of comedies, so just bear with me, how they always talk about how, like, calling white people crackers. I don't think white people were really that offended, but now with this whole Karen thing, calling a middle-aged white lady a Karen, I think that has legs, and I think that one might sting a little. I don't think anybody really wants to be a Karen, which from what I understand, a Karen is someone who runs off to the manager, has French white tip fingernails, drinks white wine with her lady friends, has like that Kate with 8 children haircut. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know if all Karens are supposed to be like racist, because that's awful. I don't know if that's part of it or if it's just like things are just, now it's just a slur. So my joke was that Karen's probably going through menopause and she probably hasn't had any sleep, and her husband possibly is a philanderer, and that, maybe Karen was like super hot in high school and that now nobody wants to hit on Karen and she might be having hot flashes, and, her husband's like all of a sudden all interested in, these 20-year-old waitresses. Oh, what do you do? Or where are you from? Just thinking about, I don't know. I was, I make t-shirts, and I was jokingly going to make a t-shirt a while back, like, have you hugged a middle-aged white lady today? The white men were Me Too'd. as they should have been, getting in big trouble, and now white women are getting in big trouble. So I'm a white woman. I don't want to get in any trouble. I just keep to myself. But then they'll be like, oh, keeping to yourself is not caring. I don't know. So, gosh, I guess that's my report for today. I did almost kill myself. Not yesterday, the day before yesterday. Honestly, I'm not joking. I think I have a whiplash. I had this big wagon of hostas that I transplanted from my friend, and they were huge and dirty, and they were really heavy. And I was going backwards down a hill with this wagon. The wagon got away from me and started rolling down the hill. It knocked me over, and I fell back and did a full back somersault down the hill and hit my head. And the wagon rolled down the hill violently, crashed into a giant pot, and cracked it. And I couldn't believe I was like, how am I okay? There's no way I can be okay. And I finished gardening the whole rest of the day. And now I feel like my neck is so messed up. Like it's, you know, whatever. I think I need to keep moving it though. But I was just saying that I will die in my yard, in my garden, because I'm climbing on the roof. I'm climbing on ladders. I'm constantly doing dangerous things, and I just about killed myself yesterday. I'm I'm glad I'm all right, but that was really stupid. It was also wet, raining, and I was wearing clogs. They were garden clogs. Um, yeah, so just be safe out there, which what does that even mean? I mean, um, yeah, that's from my check-in 2.0. I had to redo it there a little bit. Okay, bye.